the head of the, what do they call it? The New York SAC, the NYSAC resigns in a kind of a alarming manner. What does this tell you, I guess?
Nothing. Everyone's trying to relate this to the Ryan Garcia. I don't know what this means. Kim Sumbler's her name. I didn't really know her all that well. People even be conspiracy theorists and say that, well, she's resigning because she mishandled the Ryan Garcia thing, or that Ryan Garcia is going to be exonerated, or they want someone that's going to hammer Ryan Garcia after the B sample. I don't really know. I think people are making too much out of it. You still have a B sample. There was news that the nandrolone test, that one came out negative, which is big for Ryan. If that would have been positive, that would have been an issue. But I think people are jumping to conclusions here. I don't know what Kim Sumbler's situation was. She, to me, was just another political appointee in the game of boxing that didn't really know much about the sport, to be honest with you. I don't know how much of an impact this has on the sport, but I think people jumping to conclusions about what this means for Ryan Garcia's positive drug test, I wouldn't really say anything because I don't know. I haven't heard anything, to be honest with you, specifically.
Interesting. So explain to us real quick. So you said that the B sample came back and he tested negative for one.
Well, that's for the nandrolone. That's another test they took, the carbon isotope test. But
originally though, wasn't he tested positive, or he had two?
Right, it was the ostarine and the nandrolone. But it turned out that the nandrolone, that one he's been cleared of, but they still have to do a sample B for the ostarine. Now, people have to understand about sample B. Sample A and sample B are from the same pool of piss. They're just broken up in half. So it's not a different urine sample or anything of that sort.
How can something show up in one sample and not show up in the other sample though? That's why.
Well, that's the thing. That's why. You're right. And look, I've been told that very rarely. I mean, it's like 99.9. It's going to be the same result in terms of the test.
It can though, Smitty. It's just like taking for life insurance. When you have a insurance agent show up for your life insurance, they have to piss test you. One of them's broken up in proteins. The other one's broken up in, like they call it, enrichment. So all the other shit that they take out, the sample B is a separate site, even though it's one piss test. So if your proteins are too high, they won't give you life insurance. So that's why a lot of people piss first in the morning, and then because that first piss that hits up their fucking jar is probably going to be real dehydrated. It's going to be high protein. So it's going to test different. I know this for a fact because I just used to have to deal with it with my mom. So Victor was on your show yesterday, and I know Bailey, our show producer behind, watches it, and he comes out and says that Ryan Garcia is spewing misinformation. I know he kind of broke it down on your show as far as the fake news segment portion of it. Where are you at with what Victor said on your show?
Well, I think it's funny all these people are upset that I have Victor on. Number one, deal with it. Number two, I'll always have Victor on. Number three, he probably knows more about this than anybody. Now, whether you trust him or not, that is up to you.
Yeah.
All I know is this. I find him to be a wealth of information, and he's a delightful guest, and I enjoy having Victor Conte on. So, but again, the reason why we brought him on is because Ryan Garcia and his father said, we're going to sue Victor Conte because he owns VADA. He doesn't, and it's not true. And so us being fair and balanced, we just want to get the other side out. He's allowed to defend himself. Now, all the Ryan Garcia jock-sniffing groupies, you're not going to like it, but there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to bring on who I bring on, and Victor's going to say who he brings on. He's going to say what he says. And if you can, please argue with the merits of his argument, not because you want to go out there and get on your knees for Ryan Garcia. That's fine. You're a groupie. I'm good with it. You're allowed to be that. And I said, well, I don't trust Ryan Garcia or Victor Conte. And I said, you know what? You're allowed to. That's fine. I don't get emotional over this. I'm doing a show, and my job is to go out there and entertain and inform. That's what I'm doing. So look, Victor is a guy that's a very polarizing figure. Just by associating with them, you get a little shrapnel. People say, oh, well, you're with Snack and this and that. And to that, I say, yeah, snack.com. make sure you use the promo code K9Kin to get 25% off all products. Like, be upset, people. Go ahead. As Tim Bradley says, go ahead, talk whatever you want. I get paid to do this. Just keep that in mind.
No doubt. No doubt.
Let me ask you this from your experiences. So, like, just being real, what are the chances that Ryan's B. Sumbler will come back clean on the Oscar? And like, it's very rare that
again, I think it's very rare because generally, from what I remember, for the most part, it's basically the same result.
Right.
Now the question becomes, and again, and he's talked about this, Victor, there could be a chance of contamination. And the way you prove that is you bring all your samples in, not your samples, all your supplements, you have them tested. Then you go through the lot number. There's actually been cases where it's been proven it's contamination.
Yeah, because Ryan Garcia has this has never happened before. And like, we've never known him to be a guy who's ever taken stuff, right? Not to say he's not doing it.
Yeah, there's never really been any suspicions that I've known of. I mean, he talks about smoking weed and drinking, and I don't know about that either. He says a lot of things to create a certain type of image or a persona. But the drug test is the drug test. Nonito Donaire and his wife have done some really good videos about how the VADA drug testing works, about the protocol of how the urine is collected, how it's sealed by the fighter itself, and then how it's mailed off. This whole notion that somehow Victor Conte had his tentacles and everything, and he's pouring in other urine and I find that to be ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'm with you for sure. It's interesting to say the least. I mean, Ryan seems to not be bothered. He's online. Saw him yesterday. Him and Errol Spence was going back and forth at it. He basically called out, Errol for a fight at, I think at what, we said 160, I think is what he said. Is that like
I think 150. Yeah. Look, that has a lot to do with the fact that Errol Spence's former trainer, Derek James, is now with Ryan, and Derek and Errol are kind of suing each other. So look, Ryan knows how to create headlines.
He does.
He really does. He knows how to create headlines. He knows how to go viral. He's very good at it. And I said his genius is to make a bunch of dumb people think that he's smart. It's almost like a cult. It's almost like Jim Jones, and they will drink his Kool-Aid. And to that, I don't even get upset at it because I feel as though, look, we are capitalists. We all make money in certain ways. I just reserve the right to have my opinion on it.
100%, man.